What's going on, guys? Car Review Guys here. My name is AJ, and today we're back with another one. We are back with a 2022 Hyundai Kona NLine. So without further ado, let's jump into this review. After this review, there are going to be 2 more videos, 5 things that can improve and 5 things that I absolutely love. So let's jump right into this review because it's already probably going to be 15, 20, 25 minutes. I don't know. Let's roll. Alright, you guys know the drill. Let's start with the exterior, then the interior, then let's take it for a drive. So, starting with the exterior, you can see right up front you have these nice LED runners. I think they look pretty good if you ask me. You have a very sporty looking grille, which this is the NLine, not the N. So it basically looks like an N with just a little bit less performance, let's just say. And on the front you have some 235/45 R18s, and I love the gunmetal gray with like a little bit of, I don't know what you want to call it, I guess like a brushed aluminum. Looks pretty good. And then on the rear, 235/45 R18s. Looking from the side profile, the one thing that I noticed right away was the paint match. I guess you want to call it moldings, fenders, whatever you want to call it. It's all paint matched, and it looks so much better paint matched. There's been a few other manufacturers that have been dinged for that, and there are other Konas that have just the plastic, but having that paint match, this thing looks way better in my opinion, having that paint match. And you will notice right here on the door handle the little indentation, that it was to lock the car, and then to unlock it you just press on the, or hold on the inside to pull it open. That's going to unlock all of your doors. It is not on the rear door, only on the fronts. Moving our way around to the back, you will see 2 little exhaust tips right there, nothing on the other side, so it is not dual exhaust. You'll notice a little badging. It's a 1.6 liter inline 4 turbo 4-cylinder. That is what is underneath the machine. While we're in the back, you can see the camera right there along with 2 little license plate lights, and then that is your little button to open the rear trunk or hatch or whatever you want to call it, I guess. This is the storage you have back here. There's a decent amount of space underneath, as you can see there. The gas cap is located on the driver's side. It has a 13.2 gallon tank in this vehicle. Moving up to the mirror, you will notice it does have blind spot monitoring. Right in front of the mirror, you got the little NLine badging right there, and I think that's a nice little touch. Obviously, it doesn't have to be there, but it does look nice. And again, just finishing up front, I just think it looks pretty aggressive for what this is. So I don't mind it at all. I think this little vehicle is sharp looking for a small SUV crossover. Alrighty, that pretty much wraps up the exterior. Let's jump into the interior. Let's go through some of that, and then we'll get to the drive. Alrighty, I'm 5'9". You guys know I do this test on pretty much every single video. Getting in and out, as easy as it not. Let's test it. Just a little bit of duck down, not too bad, not too bad. Now, sitting in here, shut the door. Alrighty, we're in. Yeah, it's not bad. Headspace, there's actually a good bit. I would say 3.5 inches, and that's sitting like straight up. Leg space, you've got maybe 3 inches, somewhere in there, and that's where my seat sits to drive. So I think there's definitely enough space. I mean, again, it's not a huge vehicle, but it's not made to be, so yeah, I have no issues with it. It actually is pretty comfortable. The seats are cloth, but they are actually comfortable. I've sat in some cloth seats that, not a fan. Right here in the middle, you've got this little guy, 2 cup holders, nothing too fancy, pretty standard on a lot of vehicles. You have 1 light right there on the roof, and that's pretty much all you got back here. Other than that, you literally have a window switch there. All the materials are a little bit on the cheaper side. They're plasticky, I won't lie. But the vehicle comes in at $29,000. So the price is priced right, especially for this thing. So, and again, this is an NLine. It's made to be sporty, lighter materials to make the vehicle lighter. So it all makes sense. It's right in line with where it should be, so I don't have any complaints. Let's move up front. Testing the front to get in and out, going down, Yeah, and that's like super natural to get in and out, to be honest. No complaints there for sure. Always nice to, you know, have the ease of getting in and out. All right, let's go through some of this here. So obviously harder plastic, harder plastic, harder plastic. Steering wheel is like a pleather, which is nice. And you've got some contrast stitching in there, which is also nice. Got your little NLine badging right there, which again, pretty cool little touch. It's small, but small details matter. They just do. So that's a nice little touch. You're gonna notice in front of us, we do have a full LED digital display. I mean, I was impressed. I did not expect that in this. I really, really did not. Love that. So yeah. Moving over, this has a 10.25 inch screen. Moving down, you do have single zone climate control, which I do like that, you know, you can set it to your temperature. Little weird that it's not dual zone. I mean, I feel like dual zone's pretty standard in today's vehicles, but nonetheless, that's what you have. You do have a wireless phone charger back in there. I don't know if you can see it or not. Hopefully you can see it. Even though they're cloth, it is heated seats, which is nice. You have your drive mode selector right there. And so you will see if I were to turn this, right there's your sport mode, normal, and smart mode, which is honestly what I drive in. I've just left it in smart. I've driven this vehicle about 100 miles and that's been majority of them right there. So yeah, that's pretty much all I'll leave it in. On the seat, you will notice it has the NLine badging as well with the contrast stitching. I think that looks really nice. The seat is nice. I have no complaints there. Absolutely love it. Inside the middle, it's pretty small, not too big, but nonetheless, still some storage. You do have a standard mirror up here, and obviously on the sides as well. Nothing too fancy about those, but overall, again, I have no complaints, especially for the price point of this vehicle. It is priced correctly, and there's a lot of features in this thing. Let's move to the steering wheel. On the right side, you will see you've got the adaptive cruise control and the lane keep there, and then over on the left, you've got the volume and the selector there, so pretty standard. But the big thing on this, for sure, is to have these two items, adaptive and lane keep. Oh my goodness, is that nice to have. It is an option on this vehicle, so that's one of the options. And it also has the upgraded, as you can see, hopefully there, I'll try to brighten it up for you, Harman Kardon speakers. That is also really nice to have in this vehicle. All right, and I think that is most of the interior with the exception of a sunroof, and that's obviously nice to have as well. So without further ado, let's get this thing out on the road and see how it performs. After all, it's an NLine. We are behind the wheel of the 2022 Kona NLine. This vehicle, gas mileage, gets around 35 highway and 29 city. Makes about 195 horsepower, and again, it has a 13.2 gallon gasoline tank. So with all of that said, the 0 to 60, multiple sources say different things. I've kind of tested it roughly myself. There's not an exact number that I've found released by Hyundai. If there is, please drop a comment below. I could not find it anywhere. It's right around the 6.5 second mark. That's roughly what it's at. So give or take just a little bit, just a little bit. So long story short though, this is the front wheel drive version. If I have not mentioned that, it is available in all wheel drive. Now, that's huge to me. I wish this one in particular was all-wheel drive. You guys know I'm a huge fan of all-wheel drive. I really am. So I can't ding this vehicle for that because it does come in all-wheel drive. And that, I guarantee you, makes all the difference in the world. Because this thing has enough power that even at 195 horsepower, the wheels will squill. I'm telling you, they really will, 100%, if you just try to just take off quickly. If you're in the all-wheel drive version, I know it's not going to do that. It's just going to go. There's going to be no wheel slippage at all. So that's going to make a big difference when driving this vehicle, especially considering, again, this is an NLine. I know it's not the N, but you're buying this vehicle because it looks a little more sporty. It feels a little more sporty, especially over the, you know, base models and stuff. So just keep that in mind. If it were me, I highly recommend upgrade to the all-wheel drive. Now, if you do get the all-wheel drive, you're going to lose a few miles to the gallon on gasoline. I want to say it's, I'm going off the top of my head here, I want to say it's like 27, 28 city and around like 31 highway, I believe. So you're losing 3 to 4 miles to the gallon, if I remember correctly. So to me, that's totally worth it, but everyone has a different situation, so take it for what it is. Now, as I said, it's got enough. Like, it's still fun to drive. It really is. But the weird thing is, with it just being the front wheel drive, it's got enough power, even at 195 horsepower, that it really pulls the steering wheel. You can really feel it pull. So you gotta, I don't know, get used to that, I guess. It's certainly not dangerous by any stretch. And please keep in mind, I own a C7 Z06 and an Audi R8, okay? All of you guys that are new watching these videos, you think that like I've never driven like a fast car. I own fast cars, okay? I'm comparing this to everything in this vehicle segment, okay? So everything is relative. Please keep that in mind. The seats on this vehicle as we drive actually are pretty comfortable. I'm not a huge fan of cloth seats, but again, this vehicle is priced correctly. I don't expect it to have leather seats at this price point. You could argue there could be an option to get some like pleather just for, you know, easy to clean type situations. And I think some people would be willing to pay, you know, a small upcharge in order to have some pleather opposed to cloth seats. But on the other hand, cloth seats are kind of nice because, well, your legs don't stick to them. They're not crazy hot like here in Arizona. So there are some bonuses. And not to mention, this vehicle is equipped with heated seats. So even though they're cloth, they are heated. So yeah, not bad. Now, the one thing that it doesn't have is memory seating. That really surprises me. I cannot believe it doesn't have memory seating, but it doesn't. So if that is something that you're really looking for, this NLine does not have memory seating. The other thing in this that I wanted to touch on is visibility. Visibility is really good. This pillar is super, super skinny, and it also has blind spot monitoring. So if you do have an issue, pay attention to that, I guess. But like, yeah. As we continue to drive along here, I have driven it on the freeway. We are not right now, but it does have a little bit of road noise. It doesn't bother me. It's not excessive, but it does have road noise. I mean, especially in comparison to some other vehicles. I would say in this class, I would say it falls literally middle of the road. And that's fine. As long as you're not at the bottom, that is not a bad thing. It's actually more probably, like, honestly, it would make a big difference if you had optional like acoustic glass, because if you just literally replace that, I would bet this thing is pretty quiet, because I don't really hear any tire noise. I just more hear like people driving by. So, and again, it's not loud, but you can hear it slightly. So if you're looking for something dead silent, this isn't for you. But then again, if you're wanting a sports style crossover, then I don't think you would expect it to be ultra luxury, would you? Because I wouldn't. Usually I don't go over too many features in the center screen, but I had to touch on this very quickly because this to me is super cool. Number one, look at the map. It's like clouds on the horizon, which is super cool. Then The other thing is, this map will literally zoom out the faster you go. So sorry, I'm holding my massive camera, so it's not gonna be the stillest of things, but just watch the map. See how it zoomed out? So the faster I go, the more it will zoom out, and then when I slow down and I'm approaching, it'll literally zoom back in. Little features like that is really what start to set Hyundai apart. Excellent job. I guess my final thoughts for this vehicle before we wrap up this review is like the summary as to here's what I would be looking for. Let's put it this way. If I'm looking for a small crossover SUV that is sporty, fun to drive because it does have enough power, especially in this segment, still have the option of all-wheel drive to where you could drive it anywhere all the time, still have super nice features like full LED screen, big 10-inch screen, still feel really modern, and come in at under $30,000 or right around $30,000, 100% this would be among the leading vehicles if that's what you're looking for. The suspension is stiffer, almost like a sports car, not quite as stiff. There's not much body roll. It's honestly, this thing would be a blast on the track. And I can only imagine the N, maybe eventually I'll get my hands on an N, but this thing is fun to drive. It truly is fun to drive. And if that's what you're looking for and still have some practicality to it as like a daily driver, this is a great option for you. And oh, by the way, good gas mileage. So those are all of the things that basically compile the formula, in my opinion, to literally choose this vehicle. So without further ado, guys, I will catch you guys on the next one. Please like, please subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace.